advance for this series that's about to come up here soon. Now, Jacob, what are some maps that you're hoping to see here for Carnage Gaming to be able to take down UYU?
It has to be a lot of those quick close quarters combat maps. So these maps do pop up. So one of the maps I do want to see is Forge, like we do pick number 1. It does have a lot of up top close quarter combat fights. Those middle fight, even when a big weapon is placed there, it's a lot of teamwork oriented. It sometimes gets with shotguns. ASYLUM being map number 2, I think that also works out for Carnage as well. You're already seeing how it kind of got played out a little bit between Rise and Elevate. Unfortunately, there was those lag outs and that drop shot that was placed down low, so it wasn't as normal as we expect, but those up top E fights were kind of all the same. So it's about making sure that you're ready for it at a moment's notice. Bunker being that last map, I could kind of see it playing very similar if a big weapon is placed, but if it does go to map number 3 and a big weapon is not placed, you almost got to think Carnage Gaming are going to be fighting for their lives.
All right there. So Forge, ASYLUM, Bunker are going to be the 3 maps in which we're playing on. Now, we've seen UYU have a few struggles on Forge over these last few weeks. We'll see how they come out and play against Carnage Gaming, because it's not a team in which you can sleep on. And I know that Carnage Gaming are going to be overloading their numbers in the top control tower to get positioning on that highest portion of the map and get button control as well. I'm excited to see how this one is going to play out. I got UYU. Well, I'll tell you my prediction in a second, okay? Spoiler alert, I'm picking UYU. All right, I'm letting y'all know right now.
But I need to know why, though. That's
yeah, I'll let you know why in just a bit. But, you know, I will say this is that Carnage Gaming, they got the sling power to win this one, all right? And, you know, I'm going to let you guys know the prediction. It's UYU, okay? Jacob, we'll get your prediction here in a second. And so Carnage Gaming, they got the sling power to take them out. But UYU, man, you know, they are legends of their own right. And they are one of the best teams that we have here in Gears Esports. They don't have the best record, but, you know, all 5 of these players, we know them so well.
Such a quick shot, a quick reaction coming out from Kenny. Wasn't necessarily a reaction shot, but timing is right. TJ taking out Absenz and Blaze. I want to talk about it. I think UYU, I know UYU is going to win this one, because when you look at Carnage and their history as a roster, one of their biggest weaknesses was being unable to close out these matches. Huge kills coming out from Powerz, fighting in their own home mill, making sure they solidified triple cap domination, sounding off for a moment. Longest respawn timers of the game. TJ is going to shut that one down. He's going to run away, but like I was saying, unable to close out these games, and going up against a team like UYU, how fast they are, how aggressive they are, I think they're going to run into that same speed bump, that same roadblock of being unable to close out these games. So even though I do think the potential for Carnage Gaming to play UYU is close, I think UYU's experience overall is going to prove them better.
All right, so me and Jacob, we're picking UYU to win this series, and that's looks like, you know, we're pretty smart here based off that round number 1 initial from both these squads. And to let you guys know what the chat chose UYU as well. So all 3 of us are in agreement. Now let's see if Carnage is going to make some fools out of us. All right, which, you know, I wouldn't be mad if they did, okay? Because we all gonna take that L together. And, you know, Carnage Gaming, they played UYU before. We've seen them play them in Emergence days. And, you know, I'm pretty sure that they have, I want to say they may have been able to beat them one time before in the past, if I'm not mistaken. But it's all about what they can do here in the Pro League today. And TJ, he was ready for Absenz this time around. Able to get a clean back A, give his team a man advantage. And he's just going to be able to get button control. Oh, he needs to be careful. Dsylexic, he misrolls, and TJ makes quick work of him. Brought his teammates time to get to the flank. They clean up the remaining member. But Carnage Gaming, they were smart to overextend and take UYU's home hill at A. So they got themselves a little base of operations towards the lower portion of the map. Gives themselves some time for all players to come off respawn. UYU, they didn't play for the trip cap domination. TJ may have gave up top button control up a little bit too soon. Now his team may have to play for a retake in a bit. This is 1 player down on top of the B hill. TJ goes down. A quick revive came out for Carnage. They've gotten 3 kills here in quick succession. Looking for the 4th, and they know where the last member is. It's going to be Powerz. He's trying to get back to the spawn. He took a little bit of damage for that Lancer, but Carnage Gaming with the reversal here, quickly able to make UYU pay for it. Why was that, Jacob? How the hell did Carnage Gaming come back off respawn with such a vengeance?
It's because of that extra bit of spawn shield. When you begin to get ahead of yourself, like that team UYU kind of just did, you begin to kind of forget those conditions. And it's surprising because I'm always using UYU as a perfect example of that, especially on a map like Forge, to where that power position down low, you see those 3 pillars right next to those home hills. That is what I call a power position, whether you're defending, whether you're holding. That is so crucial of a spot. And UYU kind of left out too many openings for Carnage Gaming to take advantage of. They didn't remember to go ahead, and like I said, there's moments where you go for the triple cap, go for another rounding slaying, or an aggressive setup. UYU did not make the right choice. Carnage Gaming just needed that split second, and they took full advantage.
Yeah, the home hill player number 7, that was Feint. He made some great plays on overextension, and TJ gave up control tower too soon. This team needed that lantern, and they needed the call outs from up there in that height position as well for them to be able to close that one out. So TJ gets first blood once again. Now, UYU, button control up top. We see the Lancer fire coming down here on BGod. Still able to clean up the kill on Xplosive, but Kenny will prevent the B Hill from getting decapped for now. Dsylexic is going to take his opportunity in the 1v1 against TJ. Reinforcements come through. Kenny didn't get to TJ in time, but now he's going to have to make sure to not give up another kill to Carnage. He chooses to fully disengage from the tower, and he groups up with Powerz right away to take a 2v1 down low at B, to keep giving his team some map control, some heals. And that was a fantastic play out of him, because we see how quickly UYU makes rotations. They make moves. They say, okay, we lost the fight here. We know exactly what we need to do next to get back control over this map. He cleared the middle. His teammates picked up top on control tower. And now we got another 1v1 on the home hills, but this time it was UYU's home hill, and Shockwqve keeping his team in the round.
That's going to be big, because not only do they have around a 30-point lead, they're going to have the opportunity to extend it, and this big down on Kenny is going to allow them to keep their man advantage, staggering the deaths of the offense coming through from UYU. Praized is going to fall next as these respawn timers getting shorter and shorter. Staggering those deaths become an important part of your gameplay. Luckily for UYU, Powerz is able to stop bleeding there, get his home hill back, and give his team a moment to get back into this one. And at the same time, simultaneously, Xplosive was distracting 3 members of Carnage Gaming. That kind of allowed UYU to spawn up, at least 3 members to be exact, but TJ is going to go ahead and get taken down. Kenny's going to get it down on 1, but both of those players are going to die as well. So once again, I was about to say it's left up to Powerz to clutch the round, but he's choosing not to spawn in. The UYU let this one go. And that's where I talk about right now, Blaze, when it comes to this map selection, it is all down to these close quarter combat fights. So I think there's going to become a point in time where UYU places that big weapon center line and forces some team play.
Yeah, they're going to have to. They are having a great initial off the start, but Carnage, they're doing a good job in that second team fight. And I got to say that I think UYU's tower control is pretty weak up there. They're winning it, but they can't keep it, and they can't really get the maximum advantage of having that control tower. TJ will just he got caught out to start, left Kenny in a bad spot, but they still made great rotations in that round to kind of nullify that play specifically from Carnage, but ultimately in the grand scheme of things, it was not enough. So 2v2 fight up top, 2v2 fight mid-map. TJ versus Absenz and Dsylexic. His teammate Kenny to his right. They're playing off their right hand to get the initial down. Now, Absenz is going to choose to flank the remaining members of UYU down low, but the call out comes through. Absenz trying to shift to a right hand advantage so he can have a better 1v1 against TJ. Currently, he's going to be receiving some pressure in his back soon, but he does have his teammates' help as they are pressed up on UYU side of the map. They win another key 1v1 against TJ once again, and now Kenny goes down. So the top portion of the map and the B hill goes in favor of Carnage. Now UYU, they got to fight out of this difficult spot once again for 3 rounds in a row.
While that was going down, BGod was kind of on the enemy team's power, electric room, whatever you guys want to call it for your teams. I don't know why he was there. He's kind of caught out of positioning, but luckily for them, they had enough time, quick respawn rounds to get him right back onto the field. You see the rotations being made. Carnage Gaming are going after the home hill of UYU, and that's going to be specifically Absenz flanking all the way around TJ. So this is going to be a free break. It's just, can Shockwqve stay alive? He does not. He does go down. Even though he did get the break, that's still a possible 2v1 for UYU to not only get this elimination, but get the hill back under their control.
It shows that Carnage is really communicating because for him to flank around that spawn, he knows that all 5 players are alive. They're getting super aggressive, and he was able to thin out UYU just a bit for his team to get back control over that home hill. Now Carnage, they're going to try to get some tower control and B control as we're entering the mid phase of this round, and we might not see another team fight after this next one we're about to see here soon. If UYU want to get this one all tied up in a half, they're going to have to start making some plays now rather than later.
Talk about that up top control. There was some damage being put out by TJ, but 2 players actually overextending. TJ and Praized. They're trying to make some quick work of Dsylexic. He has some backup in Shockwqve. Do they see him coming? That's going to be a massive shot coming out from Praized. Melee to back it up. They are going to pick up that elimination. That opens up the door. Step 1 for UYU complete, but they have no hills ticking in their control. So they're going to go for a wipe. They're going to try and take out all the members of Carnage and then backtrack for some of these hills. It's a solid plan if they can't execute. Absenz fighting for his life. He does go down, so be in control of UYU. Triple cap sounding out for a moment. Shockwqve has to find a hill, and he's going to be unable to as UYU sneaks that one away.
Beautiful plays by UYU right there. You can never count these guys out. You always have to play them down to the wire. It was stacked against them, the points, the numbers, but in the end, they found a way out, and that's what UYU does best. So, looking at our weapon selection, UYU automatically says, you know what? We want to put the torque bow up top. So that's going to let Carnage know, you know what? Let's just drop these incendiary grenades down right away. Sometimes teams will bait the torque up top by putting out marks in control room. We'll see if UYU still want to bait incendiary grenade for incendiary grenade. They might have to, depending on what weapons may go center line. But we're about to see a 3v3 fight up top. UYU, they called in reinforcements and they said, Praized, we need you. Off rip, the pressure comes through. Praized goes down off the start. The flank comes, but here comes the IGL Xplosive. He gets 2 of his own. Absenz, he regroups with his teammate, trying to get back into the fight, but that back 8 does not connect. He's going to be able to get his health back. Playing off his left hand, buying some room for feint to flank, but the flank did not come through in time. King Xplosive, they're the last one standing. They get the torque bow. Powerz being sneaky right outside his opponent's home hill. UYU about to play for the trip cap domination.
Exactly what they needed. And this is one of the few teams that can go from possibly losing a round to sneaking it away to just dominating the next possible round. UYU with their foot on the gas in this round, winning it in under 56 seconds, which is a good momentum shift. But so far, Carnage, they're not letting things go easy. They're in it to the very end, and this could have possibly even been 3-2 in favor of Carnage. So closing out these rounds is going to be a major focus point for this squad. They just need to take it round by round. This is a massive test for them as a unit, as individuals. It's about coming out on top. So this weapon selection, you kind of hinted at it, kind of predict to see instant grenades, but I honestly would not be surprised to see a Marksa. Yes, exactly. I do believe Xplosive picks that one up, and he is one of the best support players in the history of the game, along with being one of the best IGLs. So I expect him to put damage all around the map in a moment's notice.
And he is about to be the anchor for his team, and it's going to be, you know, great to see his teammates rotate around him as he's leading the charge. Now, let's see how they want to play this round. On the flip end for Carnage, they are going to match the numbers up top. They pick up the incendiary grenade, and they're going to try to toss it on the stairs. UYU may notice, so they're pushing up, playing aggressive off the start. Praized finds himself in a corner, supporting TJ. As TJ, he dies off the initial, but Praized comes in. He was able to find a kill. Now, the flank comes through for Carnage. BGod gets the last few kills on Xplosive and Kenny. 4 members down for the side of UYU. They're looking for Powerz. He's being sneaky. He misses the first shot, cleans up the second. He's back into the next fight, but Carnage, they were waiting for him.
Yeah, Powerz has almost a very similar play style to Rushies. So I'm just having flashbacks watching both of these guys kind of corner camp to try and get those free cheeky kills, and how funny it is to kind of watch as Powerz does it yet again. This time around, though, Carnage Gaming are being the aggressive offensive team. So far, they got a couple of downs, eliminations coming through. Kenny doing what he can, and it is actually working out. That's going to be a double kill for the House of Bounce as UYU looking to have a great defensive stop. Oh my God, that torque bow in a blink of an eye. Absenz trying to tie it up as best as possible, but the numbers from UYU, the offense, offense is just too strong in that moment. They're going to go ahead and solidify that elimination, solidify the 2 hills, and this is going to be a moment for them to go ahead and backtrack, set up. So this is where they're going to go up top, make sure they have that button to push, which is also going to net them a torque bow in their near future.
And so with 4 members of Carnage grouped up down low, Xplosive is waiting for the prime opportunity. He's just waiting for it. Now he's going to press the button. E-Hill can't get decap for now, but he got a lot of intel for his team as well. So he just chooses to back up, take a clean 1v1. He doesn't need to have tower control completely because the button's already pressed. Now UYU just waiting with their lancers out for Carnage to walk right into their trap. And it was a perfectly set up play by UYU. Easy pickings up for him here in the incinerator. Now the last member standing is number 8. He will win his fight against Praized up top, but how long will he be able to stay alive? I think the damage is done. UYU should be able to get up to map point without any issues whatsoever.
That was just so bad on the side of Carnage. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. That was great work by UYU to kind of funnel them in and get those eliminations. But I just don't understand why Carnage put all 3 members in the hill. There's multiple members of UYU crossing them out. Everybody there is going to take damage. The chances of multiple players going down, just like you just saw there, is so high. They possibly needed 1 player to go in, start the break, and kind of bait and switch out and trade off that damage instead of having all 3 players take it at once. And finally, we have that big weapon on the field. That drop shot is now center line, but it's going to be the difference between Absenz versus Marksa in these 2 teams.
Now, when it's a 2v2 fight up in a control tower, Carnage Gaming has been getting the best of UYU. It's really when UYU has been putting 3 and 4 up there where they have been winning these initials and closing out this round in a good fashion. This time, we see the quick pick comes through for TJ, but he's immediately taken out. Torque Bow got picked up for Carnage as well, so drop shots just on the ground. Kenny's able to pick up a few kills of his own here. Now up top in the fight, Absenz full red. Looking for the last shot, but Kenny off his left hand, able to get that shot swung around. He gets the melee with the connection off the swing on his right. Now UYU on top of the home hill of Carnage. Drop shots coming from above. Dsylexic with the team kill. He's in a difficult spot. UYU closes out map number 1.
That is kind of the story of UYU. These matches are kind of close until UYU seems to chain things together round by round. The momentum starts to build, and then they're laughing, and then they're having fun. And that's one of the worst things you could have happen to you if you're going up against a UYU squad, a team that is just legitimately having fun playing Gears of War, because you see there's almost lights out when that happened, and Powerz isn't missing a shot. He's making sneaky play. He's making big plays, and that's exactly what this team needed. And I'll go ahead and talk about what I talked about before, having that side IGL. You have Xplosive, one of the best IGLs in the game, and then Kenny kind of driving, backseat driving, making sure he doesn't steer into a wall.
All right there. You know, Carnage Gaming, great effort from them. It was a lot of close rounds in that series, but ultimately UYU just had the better game plan. Now, you know, watching this one early on, the 2v2 fight in control tower, Carnage, they were getting the best of TJ. You know, off the start. I'll say this. TJ was winning the initials, right? He won the first 3 initials in that round, but it was the setup at that point. It was when a map slowed down and Carnage played for retake. They did a good job breaking up UYU's setup. But based off of how this map is kind of laid out, even if you win that fight up top in control tower, you know, the map can be won on the lower portions of it. You know, we saw a lot of big rotations, big plays happening at that B hill center line, quick rotations to the home hill for the trip cap domination, and even some early trip cap dominations in the second half there. So Carnage, they fall hard, but like I said, UYU, they had the better game plan.
Just overall, just more experience. You see it in these big moments to where UYU's losing some rounds, losing some battles, but they're still composed as a team. You still see them working together, 5-man unit, win as a team, lose as a team. On the side of Carnage, they were working together. It was showing up pretty well, especially as they had that lead at one point. But when they begin to hit that brick wall, instead of staying composed, instead of continuing to work together, they begin to go one-on-one, they begin to go in individually, and then things just begin to fall all around. And that's kind of what ailed them when they were not closing out some of those rounds in the qualification process. They kind of were ahead, but then something happened, a big play, a big moment stole around from them, and then there went all their momentum.
All right, then. Great effort there by Carnage. Now we get to move on over towards map number 2. It's going to be Asylum. Now, you know, this is going to be UYU's map pick. Forge was Carnage's. And so, you know, Carnage, we'll see if they can get off to a nice start here on Asylum. They have the aggressive play style in which which can make you successful in the first half of Asylum, and they can play a little bit more passive here in the second half to really slow down that fight at the E hill. We'll see how this one unfolds. And so I know coming into this series, we had a stat graphic as well when it came down to we was showcasing 2 players. It was Xplosive and Dyslexic. We'll see if we can get that one for you guys here in just a bit as we get map number 2 loaded up as well. And now you see them on your screen here. Xplosive with the 2.32 KDA at the top of your screen here. 11.56 average kills, and then 15.78 when it comes down to assists. And I don't think it's no surprise that we're seeing more assists than kills when it comes down here to Xplosive. But it just shows that, you know, he is able to do a lot on this map when it comes down to helping his teammates, slaying out. And, you know, I think the KDA is the best number to quantify a player's production and what they can do here for your squad. Jacob, what do you get here from this graphic?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head here with his 14.11 eliminations for Dyslexic. You know, he's a big part of that slaying power of the squad. Obviously, everybody plays a role. His role for the squad is make sure that you disrupt the enemy team. You get as many kills as possible. Even if it's somebody down, maybe somebody's getting lanced out, you have to clean up that kill. That is your job. On the side of things, Xplosive, I can kind of see them stats making sense. He's still putting up some double-digit kills, putting up some massive number of assists. He's that all-around player. He's the IGL. He's not going to be the tip of the spear. You have Powerz to do that. So what he's able to do is kind of sit back, fill in the holes that the team's needed. Most of the time, it's a lot of support fire. It is a lot of support play because that is, like I said, he's the IGL. He needs to be able to control his troops around the field, and he puts himself in the perfect position to do just that.
Yes, he does. And, you know, he does it so well. And so that's why we're going to see a little bit more assist out of him than we do on the kills. But like you said, on the flip end for Dyslexic, he is one of those entry fraggers for his team, and they rely on him a lot to go in there and pick up those kills. Now, even though his average assist wasn't as high as Xplosive's right there, when it comes down to total score, they were only off by a few hundred points. And so when I look at that, you know, it kind of tells me that Dyslexic is getting a lot of full 175s out there on his kills, okay? You know, his average is 14, his assist is low, but his score is high. So he's getting a lot of chunks. He's on the map. He's getting those objectives versus on the flip end where some of his explosive skills may be more in those big support team fights. He comes join the fight as that second or third guy where all those players is kind of peppered up after the main slayers in the front lines then get a lot of the work. And he comes in, he cleans them up. You know, all going according to plan, I'm pretty sure, over there on the UYU side of things. Now, we'll see how all of this plays in a factor when we get towards Asylum. And so I think so earlier today we did see Rise versus Elevate kind of put that drop shot down low towards the tracks. Now, we've seen teams choose several different locations where to put this drop shot, whether if it's towards the tracks, center line at Pavilion, or up top at entrance. And, you know, it kind of plays a lot around, I guess you'll say, each of these teams' individual play styles, maybe. Why would you think, Jacob, why teams would choose to choose different locations of where that power weapon may go when you're getting geared up to fight in the second half?
So I'm going to start with like what I think is the number 2 thing. It's kind of like what you said. Play style, teamwork, how you want to play the map, because sometimes you might not have that aggressive play style, so you don't want to necessarily just throw it up top to where there's one way in, one way out. Putting it down middle is kind of like the number 2 spot. A lot of teams have some familiarity, but if you want to throw a curveball at people, you throw it down towards tracks. It creates that open field. There's a third middle passageway to kind of get in and out of tracks, so it's not just one way in, one way out. So there's a lot of versatility that you're able to do. And then on the second half, where a lot of teams are focused on focused on playing that street, you still have to have in the back of your mind that drop shot will be up on the other side of the map. So it's an extra element of play, an extra thing that you have to worry about instead of just fighting for drop shot. You have to prepare for the drop shot, rotate around, and then on top of that, you have to make sure no one is sneaking around, because if you don't have control of it, somebody could be sneaking there, hiding around the corner, like you saw Powerz do a couple of times. There goes an easy elimination. The advantage has been given up at that point.
And, you know, I think personally, you know, I like the tracks placement of the drop shot, especially seeing how Rise played beforehand. Now, of course, it's going to be subjective to what is your team's strengths, because we know some squads who really love the utility nade fight that we see at the entrance hill when it comes down to trading off those incendiary grenades and the shock grenades and getting control at E. We've seen some teams up there, some LATAM teams really put the drop shot and own that area of the map. But I think that would it being placed on tracks that you have an easier time getting trip cap dominations on your opponent's home hill in the second half. And also, if your squad has a great home hill player, keep the fight 1v1 on the other side of the map when it comes down to that entrance battle, and just rely on your teamwork on tracks, picking up that drop shot. And then it should be able to make getting that home hill a little bit easier. Already picking out majority of your opponents and being able to just focus your efforts, a few feet away at their home hill. So we'll see how it gets played out in this one. But nonetheless, I think this one is going to be a great map that's going to go down to the wire.
And now it's going to be up to Carnage here to really step up. I said it, in their own way, both these teams had something major to prove, not only to themselves, but to Gears Esports, to every one of their fans. So this is going to be an opening moment. This is exactly not what I expected to see. Praized playing aggressive from the start, pushing all the way back into spot, but BGod rises to the occasion, takes out Praized, and now they're forcing Kenny back. And I like what they're doing with this long respawn timers. They're making sure to solidify the elimination. Unfortunately for Feint, he gets caught out by not only Kenny, but Xplosive, biting off a little bit more than he can chew. TJForce actually sounding off for a moment for Carnage. Multiple players playing aggressive. UYU on towards that neutral is going to buy their team some time here.
All right, just a bit of time. Now, UYU was able to get this B hill, but Kenny is pressing forward in a 1v2. Xplosive left him mid-map so he can go kind of Lancer support for the squad, but Kenny got caught out now. The B hill may momentarily change ownership over here towards Carnage Gaming. They got to be able to take Xplosive out of this position first. They're going to get a little help from their teammate Dsylexic mid-map, and he's going to continue to put pressure on his opponent, trying to bring back UYU towards this side of the map. He's able to find another kill and get some support fire on the players in the back. That was Powerz, who still manages to find a kill before he went down, and I think that's a win for him in my book. Be able to take one to the grave there. Now on a flip end, UYU, they did decap Carnage's home hill. That brought them enough time to get back into this round. And I think we're about to enter the last team fight here of the first round of the first half.
I like Kenny's positioning right here. And notice how he took out that flash. He thought twice, because if he would have thrown that flash in that moment, there was no teammates ready to make a push. Nobody would have followed up on it. It would have just been a simple waste of flash. Now he's going to wait for this moment. Still doesn't make good use of it, but his team is there to back him up. That's the important part that I wanted to point out. The reinforcements for UYU, the Wolfpack scenario, and Kenny honestly keeping his head on a swivel, not letting anybody sneak by, and that's what you got to do. Double trains are going to create an opportunity for Carnage Gaming, especially with big eliminations like that. That's going to be 2 from BGod and Dsylexic. Kenny's going to go down next. Carnage Gaming are now have an opportunity to put the nail in the coffin for this round. Long respawn timers. UYU is going to buy some time here.
They were in a good position. Powerz makes some big plays mid-map. You see Praized overextending towards his opponent's home hill. This UYU can definitely win this one. They've committed a lot of respawns to this round. Trip cap domination coming through for them. For now, they don't get their opponent's home hill, but they got C, they got B. They got a 5-point lead, and that's just going to continue to grow. They're already set up to defend this B hill as well. Now TJ is going to play his life. He took a lot of damage hopping out. Now Carnage needs to be careful about chasing them because they don't have the B hill decap just yet.
I'm not sure even with these 2 hills, that's going to be enough time. They might need the triple neutralization. B is getting decapped there for a moment. Dsylexic fighting for his life against Powerz. This is going to be a big victory.
That was huge.
He is actually going to get it. B is actually still being decapped as well. I still don't think this 2 hill cap is going to be enough.
It won't be unless B gets decapped by BGod, and he will. Carnage Gaming in the last portions of this round found themselves a win condition with a 2-to-1 hill advantage and forcing a chaotic fight there. They are able to get round number 1, and it was a lot invested into that round, Jacob. Where did it all go wrong for UYU?
It was that respawn that came through for Carnage Gaming. You saw the overextension towards the top. They went and attacked both of the home hills. I think you said it perfect. UYU setting up to defend B. Well, Carnage said, okay, we don't need B. We'll go for the home hill. And then that's what really turned things on its side for UYU.
And once they went for the home hill, the players at B for UYU, they kind of thinned out their defenses. And ultimately, it ended up being a 2v2 fight down there for control. It was a big 1v1 that was won at C from Dsylexic, which was huge for them. Because by winning that fight and getting it capped up, made it so much easier for BGod just to play his life and decap B down low and keep it neutral. So, off the start here, Absenz makes it to the hop over first. Gonna have his nade in hand. He got some free shots here on UYU, but UYU knows they cannot stay at this B hill. They gotta push through, force these players off the back tracks and let their back spawn cap up the hill.
See this opening strategy coming through. UYU with 2 hills, forcing Carnage exactly where they want him. That was overextension towards the top, going through once again. This time, Xplosive is sitting there waiting. Trade coming through. Dsylexic going to get taken out, but Feint is going to make sure he cleans up that kill. The decap on the home hill of UYU is going to come through, but they still trail. They need to make sure they get this capture as well. And look at Praized. Praized being as sneaky as possible, trying to watch the flank, trying to watch anybody trying to break this neutral hill. And look at Carnage. They have still not pushed in. They still didn't solidify it. So now they're going to backtrack, basically telegraphing their rotation wide to UYU.
Now, UYU, they got the intel, but let's see if it's going to be enough to stop this play from Carnage Gaming. Carnage does not have the B hill capped up just yet. Number 9 is going to get into position, but he's a little bit too late with the cross there. Not able to get the down. And this is a 5v4 in favor of Carnage in this given moment. UYU will not make a play for B just yet. It may try to have a presence over on the other end of the map at C, but we see Carnage fortifying their defenses on that side of the map also.
This is going to come down to, can UYU break this early and hold on, or can Carnage stop? Not once, but twice. 2 offensive plays coming out from UYU. There's so much time left in this round, even with the 2-hill capture, and you already see UYU gearing up for push number 1. That's going to be a flash coming out from Powerz. That's going to be a double flash due to that utility placed on the side. So a lot of what Carnage can see is going to be clouded up, leaving Dsylexic basically by his lonesome. Even though Xplosive did get a kill, it's traded off by Feint, taking out Praized. So this is where Carnage is going to have an option here to be aggressive. Look at them pushing the members of UYU out, and UYU's kind of giving it up, rightfully so. They did get the overextension on the home hill, so they're going to keep 2 hills in their control the entire time.
Absenz almost said, I'm done. It's over. Let me just end it all at this moment. They're ready to the train. UYU has plenty of heals with this 2-to-1 setup. We'll see if they continue to play for B. I'm pretty sure if they get the opportunity, they will. Carnage, they have to get back their home hill now. Just having the numbers in the area of the map, UYU will rotate out. And Carnage, they did not commit too many players to their home hill exactly. They knew they scared them away, and they quickly started rotating down low to B to get the jump on UYU because the rotation, UYU was the reason why they gave it up, because they were on top of this B hill. Just trying to not fight their opponent, but more so out-rotate them instead. Working smarter, not harder, but were they smart enough, as Carnage is currently holding both home hills.
Wow. Big plays. Every time I look and any duos making
the Lancer out.
Dsylexic and BGod, you kind of hit the nail on the head. So much pre-fire damage going down on Kenny, because he realized even though Kenny is there with a shotgun, he knows Kenny can't necessarily go in and fight the fight right away. Kenny has to go ahead and get the break, and then he can go in and fight the fight. So all he had to do was kind of Lancer him, keep backing up, making sure Kenny doesn't get anything for free. I always talk about pre-damage being so much. That is a prime opportunity of why pre-damage is one of the things you guys should be focusing on.
It's everything, man. You know, we were talking about earlier when we were filling time about how, you know, you get a possible 9 rounds in a map to be better off the initial each and every time. And as you're gathering intel, you see tendencies in which your opponent do. Some of them take the same route every single round. They just go the same exact direction. And if you're able to get a little pre-fire on some of these favorable cover locations where people up A, wrap shot, they wall bounce on, and they prioritize that extra pre-fire, does wonders when it comes down to pressure. Hell, that is the definition of pressure in Gears Esports. That support fire that comes in as you're trying to gain that objective there. So it does help a bit. we'll see. We'll pinpoint some good opportunities in this map when we see some players do it, just to give you guys a live example. And you will see it actually. BGod do it right there. He knows he's on the corner. He's Lancing. He says, "I dare you to up A. I dare you to wrap shot. You're gonna have to back up and roll it. You're gonna have to back up and throw a nade from downtown if you want to make the play." And TJ said, "Okay, I'll make the play."
That's intuition. That's not something you can line up. That's something you either throw it, you practice it maybe a few times, the distance, but that was as if watching Kobe hitting a game-winning shot. So hopefully UYU can begin to piece up these rounds and close it out.
He's been getting intel every round, and his intuition gets stronger. So that's him just making sure he's locked in and figuring out where are the chinks in his opponent's armor at off the initials. So once the dust is settled, UYU holding the 2-to-1 hill advantage. They got 2 players stacked up top, 2 at tracks, 1 in middle. It's a mirror match strategy on their opponent's end. So Carnage trying to play man-on-man and get the decap. They got 4 players down low, quick rotation. UYU has met the force with they have met this with equal force, but in the end, it was not enough because Carnage just wanted that hill a little bit more than UYU wanted to defend it. In the spawn, TJ takes 1, but not for long. That's going to be a win by way of elimination for Carnage Gaming, and that's 3 in a row.
I feel like Powerz got chunked so hard they threw him out of the game. Now, all jokes aside, unfortunately for UYU, Powerz is going to lag out of the game, but this could be a blessing in disguise, though, Blaze. I will say that, because this is going to be a moment for them to stop, pause, and really think about what is going on. Not only what is going wrong, but what changes they need to make. So hopefully this is a pause on the side of UYU. On the other side of things, though, Carnage Gaming, and I said it last time with Elevate, they're going to have to close out these games. They failed to close out map number 1. This is another opportunity to just do that as soon as their player gets back in the lobby. So not only do they need to break down what's going right now for the squad, but what things they need to continue doing to keep this momentum on their side.
I agree with you. I think Carnage has they've done a good job matching UYU off the start of this map down low in the initial, and they've done even better actually at the mid-round rotations, finding the win condition that they need, finding the right heals that they need, because it's easy to go because even though you need to get your opponent's home heal or your neutral heal if you're down by some points and they holding a 2-to-1 heal setup, there's always one heal that's a little bit easier to get than the other one. But regardless, they're doing a good job at contesting them both at the same time. So, and when you do that, you force your opponent to have to make some difficult decisions when it comes down to allocating numbers to defend each one of them. So, good job to Carnage Gaming for at least prying that pressure to UYU and coming out to a nice 3-0 lead here.
This is when the lag outs happen on ASYLUM. It begins to change things up a bit because obviously the train is on a pattern, a rotation of its own. So when we get back into the action, I don't know if these guys really keep in mind which trains are which, things like that. But if that's something they like to keep in mind on, they're going to have to keep track of every single one of these trains that do pass by, whatever it may be. That's just an interesting element. I don't know how much it's really going to play a part simply because it's unlike the Rise game, that drop shot isn't down there, but we're still in the first half. Those trains will still play a portion of an impact. How much? I haven't really seen it play any game-winning or game-saving or game-losing plays just yet.
Yeah, so when we first kicked off Gears 5 Esports and, ASYLUM was a big favorite map, we saw the train get utilized a lot only because teams did not understand that when a train came through that they had to have even numbers on the other side. If one player was being blocked from the train, if one squad had a mismatch, they took that mismatch every single time. So we see it, a few different times get utilized where you'll see one player dart on the other end of it. And if the numbers aren't there, then they will probably get the B heal each and every time. So, but squads, they know how to stop it. They know how to nullify that small advantage that the train gave here. It's at the point where if you do get caught out, that's just on you. That's just on you for not seeing it sooner. It's a horn. You hear it? You know when it's coming every time. You got to be able to count those numbers and get even.
It definitely is, so, and that's like one of the biggest things is the pre-push, counting numbers. And I've been a part of pickup scrims. I've helped coach certain teams. I've helped coach the best of the best. And that's one of the biggest things I think some players forget to do a lot of the times is call out the numbers, count the numbers, figure out where the rotation is going to be made. So hopefully Carnage Gaming can do just that to keep the momentum on their side. Like I said, it is huge. This team has failed time and time again to close out games. This is a big opportunity to force a map number 3 versus our reigning defending champions.
BGod tried to cap this B hill, but UYU said no, 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 no. They tossed multiple Ensigns. They had them crossed out, and now they got Carnage on their back foot. As I say that, Dsylexic picks up a kill. Shockwqve gets one. Absenz gets one and faints. 4 different 1v1s being won here on the side of Carnage Gaming. Kenny, last man standing. Home hill will not get captured for UYU. This is the highest respawn rounds that we have here in the first half. So Carnage takes what they got, and they'll choose map control and a 2-to-1 hill setup rather than a trip gap domination in this given moment.
Yep. Not sometimes. I think majority of the time, map control and 2 hills is pretty big. You don't want to squander the raid by getting too greedy. Kenny trying to make a play a little bit by himself, though. He did get taken out, and there comes the solidified B push coming through. They're taking out multiple members of UYU. Powerz is going to go ahead and fall on the other side of the map as well. So if Carnage Gaming want to continue to put this pressure, they can. They just need to be careful. These are short respawn rounds. The players that they just eliminated are going to be back with a vengeance as Praized picks up that kill on Fate. So it's going to be up to UYU here to make this push. They have the man advantage here to make it happen. They have a little bit of coming back to do, but it's not wild. It's not out of reach just yet.
If Carnage could have slowed down that last team fight just a bit, they would have got Dsylexic in position to possibly get that hill cap. But now UYU, they're fighting back. They have B, but they're trapped in a 2v4 situation. 2 players, that's 8 and 7, Xplosive and Powerz. A little bit too aggressive there on that side of the map. Now you got Carnage Gaming. They should get this home hill for free. They'll be able to rotate down low towards the bottom portion of the map. You see Kenny on the flank. He picks up 1. He'll be able to group up with his teammate here. Now, UYU does not have the lead in this round just yet. They got plenty of response to use. Powerz is on his last life now. UYU, we need to see a classic UYU-like play where they slow this game down and they find themselves a win condition here in the late game.
I just don't think Carnage is going to let this game slow down. They're playing super aggressive. They're making sure UYU pays for every wrong move they make. TJ goes in for a break, and he instantly goes down for it. Dsylexic pushing in, wasting no time. They talk about the other side of the map. The hill is being broken. They realize this capture on B is basically their round victory. They're going to be on map point as well, forcing a map number 3, and that's going to be big.
Great defensive hold there from UYU, because even though Carnage had numbers, the Lancers of Xplosive and Powerz was able to hold them back. Sometimes Xplosive can be like 2 players when he brings out that Lancer. Now, COG team wins off the B hill. UYU is giving everything they got, and they have Carnage exactly where they want them if they can get the kills. But Carnage is fighting their way out of this one. All 4 members, they find a frag, and they're able to lock in the B hill. Not much that UYU can do in the final portions of this round, Jacob. And we're going to see Carnage get off to a 4-0 lead.
Wow. Wow. If you had told me this is exactly what I would have been watching when this match did come about, I would have called you a liar, Blaze. I would have said, put your money where your mouth is. I definitely would have made a bet against you. But nope, this is real life. You guys are not dreaming. You can pinch yourself just to go ahead and check. If you're UYU, this is probably a nightmare, though, that you want to wake up from. So it's going to come down to these last weapon placements from UYU. This is your possible last weapon placement of the game. You want to keep it as standard as possible. You have all the potential in the world to come back, but a 4-0 deficit. I don't think the UYU has been in this position very often, especially with TJForce, the newest pickup on their team.
All right, let's see if UYU can come back in the second half, because here's Esports is a tale of 2 halves, as Ryan loves to say. Now gameplay is gonna be a little bit different here with the neutral hill up top. We saw Absenz try to cap it up through the smokes, but Powerz was able to go in there and pick them off with ease. Multiple nades down on each side of the map and kills being acquired. UYU with a little man advantage for now, but Powerz will get cleaned up, maybe. Trip cap domination was being threatened for a second. Powerz may choose to just climb back out there and cap it. he will have to end his own life. Well, he didn't end his own life. He ran out of health there. But the trip cap domination did not come through for either team. UYU, they played for it. They tried it. Now they're going to have to come off respawn and contest E. And it's going to be a hard hill to contest because Carnage, man, look at this setup, Jacob. They're going to be pushing through now as well. Even got players pushing through from the lower 2 lanes. They're looking for a quick trip cap domination. But number 5, he's going to let Zero get behind him, and E should get decapped.
Definitely should. F is actually being captured as well. Carnage Gaming wanting to put this map in the books. Coming down to the wire. Big play from Powerz. Unfortunately, that's where it stops. Triple cap domination is going to continue. 5-0, Blaze. UYU get absolutely destroyed.
Quick map here for Carnage Gaming. And they make a statement. They say, yeah, we didn't win on our map 4s, but we got you here on ASYLUM. And we're going to go towards Carnage's map pick in the end for map number 3. Whew, what a series here, folks. Carnage Gaming, they're not out of it just yet. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we got an exciting bunker coming up. It's Carnage Gaming versus UYU. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gears Pro League. We just got done watching a damn near masterclass of ASYLUM here from Carnage Gaming. A 5-0 UYU, which is no easy feat to be able to force us to get to a map number 3. Jacob, what the hell did Carnage Gaming do to shut down UYU the way that they just did?
I mean, they took it to them. They took what I said, smacking them in the mouth, number 1. Building that momentum, forcing those shoddy fights. Like I said in the beginning, when it comes down to this map cycle, you have to fight those close quarter combat fights. And Carnage Gaming did not give anything other than close quarter combat fights. You didn't really see too many setups with Lancers. Even with that up top fight where you see a lot of push and pull towards that E Street, we didn't even make it there. It was so dominated in that first half. There was no answer backs from UYU. They couldn't convincingly pair things together. And through the top side of the map, time and time again, players like Dsylexic, players like BGod were attacking their home hill, while the strategy from UYU seemed to be normal. Go for your home hill, go for the neutral, and play from there. And that on the side of Carnage Gaming, they kind of did whatever hill they exactly wanted to. If they wanted B, they took B. If they wanted your home hill, they were on your home hill. And to me, that's exactly what you got to do. You got to play your game, as dumb as that sounds, and really not falter from what you guys practice in scrims.
It was a great strategy here for Carnage, right? And what their game is, that aggressive Latium playstyle, it works out for them very well. Because what we've seen in the past when it comes down to teams playing against UYU, they'll come out, win the initial. They'll be like, oh my God, thank God we won initial. Slow down, set up, wait for them on the next team fight. And Carnage is like, no, we're going to keep pressing you. We're going to keep rotating. We're going to keep fighting. They never slowed it down because they knew that they could not give them time to think. And ultimately, their game was exactly what they needed to be able to win that map in a fashion which they did. They're an aggressive team. And UYU sometimes have troubles against these aggressive squads like them. Now, let's see if Carnage got what it takes to give these juggernauts here on the left side of your screen another loss. Not going to be easy, though. Bunker, it's a tough map, and UYU knows how to play this one.
They definitely do. So this is where it's going to be the test. That you can play this map a few different ways, but Carnage Gaming has their aggressive play style, and Absenz was already baited out. UYU setting up for a perfect cross, and it's already working out from you. Already see the rotation, wasting no time. Xplosive goes from high ground to low ground, knowing they need to solidify this neutral with that man advantage. And unfortunately for them, Praized to get taken out. So it's about trades going down off this initial, but it is UYU who get the first neutral capture, which leads them to a couple of point leads.
All right, so Dsylexic here getting pressed by 2 UYU members up in the underpass. He's going to have a teammate with him, but they were not able to get enough damage out in time. UYU backs up a little bit towards their spawn. Now they got enough players to come back out and retake in a second. They got to possibly get some bunker control, or they need that extra guy to push on the platform, and that's what they had just now. So using their numbers to quickly force back Carnage. Now, Carnage did bring a third guy on the flank. It was faint. The question is, will he be able to make a big difference? He did make a difference with the kill he picked up. He just found another as well. He's able to take down Praized, and Shockwqve gets to clean up. Kenny, he's the last one standing. They know exactly where he is. But does Carnage want to play for the trip cap domination? Can they get to the C hill in time? They got enough time to at least get there, get to the front door, knock on it, ring the doorbell, let UYU know that they're around this area so it can slow UYU down and give Carnage some extra time here. But Carnage knows that it's a little bit too little, too late. So they slowly back up. They don't back up fully to the 50-yard line. They back up towards their opponent's 30, then the 35, then the 40, forcing UYU to have to fight for every inch to get up this hill, and they're making it difficult for them.
Slowly suffocating them out, not giving them a moment to breathe. This is map number 3. No, you guys are not being tricked. This is a treat for you guys wanting to see the underdogs be successful. Carnage Gaming doing everything right. Oh my God, Shockwqve taking out Powerz, and that is going to be a massive trade coming through because that is on UYU's side of the map.
That was huge. Now, UYU, they're stuck in their tower. They got the B hill, so they're still collecting points, but Carnage forcing this fight on their side of the map. UYU really haven't been able to leave the halfway point. The final member of Carnage will die on top of the home hill, and Carnage had a few respawns to give, but because that fight was so chaotic, was it enough? UYU knows that they don't have their home hill yet. They're going to get it, but this is going to be a 4v3 fight on the hill. Big down for BGod. Ain't there watching a hop over. These are game-winning chunks coming out here for CG. They lock in round number 1.
It's going to be big. This team is continuing their momentum. I believe that's 6 rounds in a row for this Carnage Gaming squad, and that's so impressive. I know we've seen it before on Pro League, but doing it against the reigning defending champions as one of the newest teams in the Gears Pro League, you got this opportunity from qualifiers. You started and you have not let up, and that's exactly what you got to do. Take this opportunity by the horns and really run away with it. So now we're going to this weapon selection screen. Typically you should see a smoke getting placed down towards the top side, which eventually should lead to instants. This time around, teams are wanting to put that utility directly into their players' hands. That kind of opens up a little bit of versatility and diversity in your initial play calls.
All right, now those front spawn players will have the utility to be able to get their own nade off so they can fight the fight that they want to, and that's super important. You know, in the early rounds, the back spawn players can get that nade out in a position. They can throw it a little bit earlier sometimes than the front spawn player to get them set up. But if you know how to up A and toss your own flash for yourself, then that way you can really fight the fight that you need to and don't have to always rely on your teammate to toss it. And he can put his nade in a little better position. So on your screen, as you guys can see, that we're in a slight technical timeout as we are going to get it underway moment right now. Hell, quick one. All right. Nice to see that it wasn't too big of a delay. And we get to keep the action going because this is a map number 3 with Carnage Gaming leading. So on platform here, you got Carnage. 3 players are in position currently. UYU is threatening to flank a bit. That flash will not be able to get a stun, but it's going to give Praized the opportunity to get on top of the platform, able to clean up a kill. Powerz finds one on Dsylexic, but BGod is waiting in the wings. Hillman and Absenz are able to clean up the remaining 2. But TJ, he needs to go big. Huge 1v1. He hits half a spread, but it was not enough. The revive comes through for Carnage, and they're going to be able to cap this B hill.
That's going to be big for Carnage. Once again, they get that first blood. They chain it together for more. This is only the second round. I feel like I've been watching a lot of Bunker already, but this is the second longest respawn timers of the game. So getting those early eliminations and being able to set up like this is the plan. It's towards the 3rd and the 4th round. These respawn timers get a little bit longer, things to get a little bit more use. But you see how much time UYU is taking? That's how you can tell they are really focused on this matchup. They're trying to really count the numbers of the Carnage defense, figuring out where everybody is set up, and then prepare for a push. They catch BGod slipping, but there goes the sneaky play. Absenz go ahead and catching Xplosive off guard, and he's going to overextend for the hill.
And he is going to be by himself. There were still multiple members of UYU top Bunker, but Absenz says, I don't even want to fight y'all. I'm going for the trip cap domination. That's going to force UYU on top of B, and Kenny even tried to overextend and get to the home hill a bit to save his team. So the entire map literally just got spread in 3 different directions. Now, all these players looking for a location of their own to lock down as their teammates come off respawn. Carnage is going to have top bunker. UYU has the lower platform. Now, Carnage can see all of this. That's why TJ has to be careful about peeking his head up, but he will be able to move out with his teammates, play for their opponent's home hill. And also, they got to double back and play for theirs. They need to be careful about the numbers in which they allocate to each hill because we're just in round number 2.
BGod has to play near perfect here, at least buy some time. 2 members are coming off a respawn. He's doing actually a great job, Blaze, buying some time. But triple gap domination sounding off around him. TJ go ahead and escapes, or at least tries to, hopping over the cover. He's still trying to help Praized, but he gets taken out. Praized does too. Powerz with a huge blade towards the back line. They need this. Double kills being captured for UYU. Points being netted up, but Powerz is going to be shut down. Kenny and Xplosive going to be the last members of Live, but the damage has been done. Actually, no. The win condition plays, it's still for Carnage.
Yeah, UYU just spawned in. All of them, all 3 just came in. They felt like they could win it. But I don't know if that was the right call because they needed to at least keep B. That player needed to get there in time, but only 10 points needed. And we're just in round number 2. UYU is definitely going to be on respawn watch as we go through the remaining rounds of the first half. And this is kind of set up for Carnage to win. This is set up for another 4-0 for Carnage, and let me tell you guys why. With those responses being as low as they are, and we're playing on bunker, it's hard for you to win this map, to win these last 2 rounds off the first initial team fight. You're going to be fighting 1 or 2 team fights, hell, maybe even 3 in rounds 3 or 4, and UYU does not have the respawns to do that. So they're going to have to play some perfect Gears of War.
They're going to have to play perfect indeed. And it really starts with this round. Typically, I'm saying this against UYU, teams playing against them. You got to stop the bleeding. You got to go ahead and stop it in this very round. That momentum on the side of Carnage Gaming has to stop. That drop shot is going to be huge. Make or break for UYU. A lot of these fights, Carnage Gaming is dominating. So I don't know if that drop shot this soon into the game is the play, but you have to do something unpredictable. You got to keep Carnage on their toes, and this is the perfect way to do it. And you already see a change of strategy both of these teams. Carnage Gaming usually the aggressors. Drop shot from downtown, unable to connect. Powerz is trying to use that to escape, but he escapes by dying. BGod with a massive play. And that's another kill on Kenny. 2 MVP-style players taken out early.
Man, so the drop shot's not in play. UYU is still in this round, but this may be a round they got to concede, if I'm being honest, you guys. Kenny's not, he does spawn in. Okay, they don't want to concede just yet, but maybe they're going to be thinking about it soon. Because if you can't win both these last 2 rounds with the respawns you got, maybe you just get 1 of them, right? And you take that momentum into the second half. But we'll see what UYU can do. Multiple kills still coming out for Carnage. They take out Praized, they take out Xplosive. Both those players will be on 1 respawn remaining. The entire UYU squad just needs to stay alive, but the big fight at B, 8 finds a kill on Kenny. He's going to be on his last on screen. TJ fighting for his life. He's going to have some teammates help, so that engagement will be, he will disengage from that fight. Powerz, he's on his last respawn. He gets caught out, and now Carnage Gaming has map control in the hills in which they need.
Let me ask you, you see Kenny conceding. You got to think Powerz and TJ would do the same. They're getting ready for the last round of the half. Do you agree with that one? They're low respawns already. They don't really have much left in the R, so maybe I'm speaking a little bit too fast, trying to theory craft something already, maybe hoping for a little bit of a UYU comeback because they are just getting slapped around. This is like Nunez open up a box of those Pokemon cards. They're just standing no chance right now.
None whatsoever. Just sliding through one after another. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Now, when your theory crafting was right, Jacob. They needed to concede. They needed to concede a 1-team fight a little bit earlier because they just gotta, on this map, when you're on that low of respawns after round 2, you just gotta hope that you could get one of these last 2 rounds, okay? Because you probably don't have the opportunity to get both at this high level of gameplay. Now, they were right with putting the drop shot down because you need that firepower to be able to slow down your opponent. You need a weapon that can just scare them down a bit, because your respawns aren't scary enough. Now, we will see Dsylexic slow down a little bit coming out of spawn, but he's all good in this round. They're fighting, folks. This is a live one. And drop shots in play. Yeah, I did as well. But he just had to change the sensitivity or something. Maybe something light. Now, nobody's playing for the drop shot just yet. Number 3 got behind enemy lines. That's going to be TJ.
Wow.
He's able to get it down on Dyslexic. So UYU with a different strategy to start, a more passive strategy this time around.
I want to see him play like he knows he's coming. BGod getting flanked. We've seen him buy him team some time before. We've seen him make big plays. That's not going to be the case here. Kenny's also going to get the drop shot. So it seems, based off that initial, obviously could be soon to tell, but UYU have possibly woken up here, stringing together elimination after elimination. 3 people dead. They have Dyslexic pinned down in spawn along with BGod, as now he's the last one left. Talk about him buying time before. He's going to have to do it again, and once again, though, he is shut down. So UYU get 2 of these hills under their control. They're going to have to backtrack Praized in order to get the triple cap domination, but nobody is even close enough from Carnage to get the touch. So UYU wins their first round of this tiebreaker map. And you know what they say, Blaze? The first one is always the hardest.
It is. And it was a flawless round from them. And by the way, what TJ did when he pushed the artillery side of the map to get behind enemy lines and his teammates, they almost like threatened to push a little bit, but they just held their positions, kept their lancers out, made sure they were watching the drop shot. Where Carnage made a mistake at is they put 4 players on that side of the map to cover the drop, but they could have played a little bit more passively if they wanted to and force UYU to make that move, okay? And play for them, because they had respawns to give. They just needed more of a scrappier team fight, and they needed to get behind UYU, but they did such a good job not letting anyone get behind them.
They did indeed. So now UYU winning that round. How much momentum did they gain? That is going to be the question. Can Carnage continue to close it out? That is one of their biggest weaknesses. So test upon test for both of these teams. Wow, first blood coming through from Dyslexic. He was actually watching Absenz's back like crazy, and that's going to be a double kill coming out to start the game. TJ is going to go ahead and take out BGod with that instant, but you kind of see where the positioning is at. Drop shot going over to Carnage. So UYU can't sit here and think it's free.
They cannot think that is free. Things able to pick up a kill over the top, and Absenz found one as well here. So Kenny is going to have to drop back. He's waiting for his teammates to get to him. He's getting caught out on the hillside. Does Carnage really want to play for a trip cap domination early in this round? I don't think so. Dyslexic, he's just a little bit too overextended over here. His teammates will back up. UYU knows that 2 members are down. They may try to threaten their opponent's home hill a bit this round, and I think that'd be a good play with the respawn timers being as high as they are. You're going to have to be careful of Feint. He has 1 drop remaining.
Once again, you see the massive amount of control coming out from Carnage. You see the drop. I almost want to see Absenz get into cover, sneakily pick up that drop shot. Attention to detail is what UYU does. They pay attention to it, and you see Praized trying to get this decap. The first one is going to come through. Xplosive getting that sneaky kill, but Praized is going to meet the same demise. Still 4v4 action. Drop shot still in the hands of Carnage. So UYU know they need this double neutralization. A player in Shockwqve is actually sneaking past enemies. He's going to get this decap. So not only Powerz has to backtrack, Xplosive has to backtrack. So that early kill from UYU is null and void. Carnage are doing it again.
Good job to Shockwqve getting behind enemy lines, forcing UYU to have to go backwards. Because if one player can do it, that means that the trip cap domination is not about to come through as easy. It's a great way to nullify that, especially when your opponent is picking up a lot of momentum. Now, UYU, they got Carnage in front of them. They know exactly where everyone is. TJ backs up for that revive. A quick flank comes through. Now, does UYU want to keep pressing forward, or do they slow this one down? They need that heal, so they're going to slow it down for now, because they know they got a minute to work with, and they're going to make sure that they put a player in all 3 lanes. 2 has the top, 4 has the middle. These last 3 remaining members of UYU, they're going to be top bunker, and we're going to be able to see how UYU slowly pushes up. They're coming up with the call out now. They got the play. They got the power weapons to do so. Now we just wait.
This is actually a decent situation for UYU to be in, because they are going to get the only push out of this game. Long respawn timers of the game. Once again, it's the first round of the half. So UYU is going to have the last and final push of this round. So they're either going to win it on the last second buzzer beater, or they're going to go down. Carnage Gaming will be on series point. So this is going to be the start, and you look how careful they're being. They're trying to watch everybody out. Shockwqve with an early instant. That's going to cloud some space, some early damage. Xplosive gets taken out. Kenny with that drop shot, he needs to get another kill. Feint gets taken out. There goes a double kill. This is the start of something big for UYU.
That was a huge drop for Kenny to get the player that was trying to flank to overextend towards their home hill, but it just ultimately was not enough. Carnage did a well enough job making that fight scrappy. It started with an incinerator nade blocking off that middle ramp. You saw BGod hop over the top to be able to flank behind them, get a kill on Xplosive, and from that point on, you forced UYU to have to make some difficult plays, and that's all you got to do. Make it harder for your opponent to make the perfect play. UYU had, what, 70 seconds to come up with it? And they knew exactly what they wanted to do. They had the power weapons to do so. That is not a situation where you want to turn on your home hill. I don't care what the hell you and your team is talking about. You have to find a way to get behind them, to not make it that easy. And that's what Carnage did to get to series point. UYU has to play flawless here and win 4 rounds in a row. If not, they're taking their second loss here of the Pro League.
Talk about perfection last round. Now this is it. Perfect or nothing for UYU. Very similar strategies coming out from what we've seen so far. Everybody getting stunned in towards the center. First blood's going to matter. Absenz going to be able to get it. TJ, though, wasting no time to tie it up. UYU take that advantage away with 2 quick kills coming out from Praized and TJ. And I like what they're doing. They're not wasting any time here. They know these eliminations are so important. Xplosive going to take out Feint, but Shockwqve, he is going ahead and overextending. I do think they saw him. They spotted him out, even crossed him a little bit, so he's gonna have to escape.
You know, that's something that I love about Shockwqve's playstyle, is that he's always threatening the trip cap. Even if he can't get it, he is always around his opponent's home hill, just to scare him a bit, and he uses his movement to disengage at the right times. But he is like the puppet master. He is able to force them into a certain direction, intentionally buying his team some time on the other end of the map. It's one of the main reasons why his team has such a lead in which they do now. UYU, they have top bunker control, and they got the 2-to-1 hill set up. And it looks like they may slow it down just a bit here. TJ has the drop shot in hand. Not sure if he has any more left. That's going to be number 3. He's watching top bunker. Carnage on the other end. They are looking at UYU's home hill. They're probably going to wait for this drop shot to shoot before they make a play.
I was about to say, I want to see him take. Oh my God, that was perfect by BGod. And he missed the drop shot. Talk about perfect. I was hoping UYU would play it, but it's BGod again. He's making play after play. And he gets another down plays. He wants this win more than anything.
Vamos, Carnage Gaming, as they are able to pick up those 3 kills. Hell, Vamos BGod in particular. That was able to get Carnage Gaming map control. It looked like they wanted to end it there for a second. They slowed down. They says, no, not yet. Let's not beat ourselves. We made a fantastic play. Keep applying pressure.
And he's going to pick up that kill on BGod. Why you need to start chaining it together. You don't have any time left to waste. Powerz saved the game once, getting another kill, trying to make the big plays happen. Gets flanked out, though. Luckily for him, he did get a kill. UYU does have 2 hills under their control, but quick rotations coming through from both Dsylexic and Absenz. But this is where they split up. And Dsylexic going all by himself. I don't know if the communication came out. Xplosive has an opportunity to really take advantage of the 1v1 situation here, but that goes the cutback on the other side of things. A 2v3 turned into a 3v3. UYU, do they see it coming?
I don't know if they do. Number 7 is Shockwqve. He's doing a good job not being in his opponent's sight lines. The drop was acquired. The first one doesn't hit, but there's an active loaded up in the chamber to go over the top, and it connects with Xplosive there. He's going to be on 2 respawns remaining. Absenz, though, he got it down, couldn't win the 3rd fight. Shockwqve is going to test his odds at winning the 1v2, but maybe that was not the play for him in a round where it looked like Carnage Gaming was going to be able to close out this series. UYU, they fought back, avoiding death. Now they need 3 more rounds.
They definitely have to go ahead and chain this one together. Talk about perfection. Round number 1, that's simply not going to be enough. You're going to need to go ahead and make some bigger plays here, but it does start there. So now we'll go to the weapon selection screen. They're a weapon placement behind due to that drop shot, but now it's that utility directly in their hands. So UYU is hoping their utility strategy for both the flashes, possibly smokes directly into their players' hands, along with that instant topside is just enough to overpower the shock utility and the instant utility of Carnage Gaming.
I think UYU is in a good spot when it comes down to weapon placement. The shock is pretty powerful, but those 2 extra flash grenades in a difficult moment can be useful, especially for you know, one of these players on UYU. But everyone has nades, so they don't have to get it off the start. Powerz gets the kill on Absenz off the start. Kenny gets drop shot. TJ makes great use of that incendiary nade, and now Xplosive takes down BGod, putting out the flame there. Now it's just Dsylexic. He's going to be the last one left, trying to stay alive, trying to see if he can take one to the grave. He cannot. UYU will win this round by way of elimination. Now they need 2 more.
2 more rounds. You won't call it a comeback, but that's a 4-round comeback needed for UYU. They have to play lights out. They have to continue to play perfect. I will say, though, even though these rounds are lost from Carnage, the one thing that they kind of have going for them, and this is kind of like a double-edged sword here, is that they're dying so quick that they're not wasting the respawns to get back into this one. So it's almost exactly even in terms of respawn economy, and the weapon selection is in. Both teams wanted to get rid of those instants. Both teams are going to go ahead and lock them down, and just go ahead and remind you, it is Carnage Gaming on series point, up 4-3 over UYU.
Yeah, no, I don't think Carnage wanted to get rid. It was just UYU. Carnage had to match it. They says, okay, we can't go without. UYU did a good job forcing those blocks now, so Carnage couldn't do it in the final round. But off the initial, Absenz takes out Powerz. Praized cleans him up. Xplosive joins the fight, and Shockwqve kills being traded off back and forth, but Kenny is the last one left alive in a 1v1 versus Dsylexic. In this round will slow down. It went back and forth, back and forth. Now, Dsylexic chooses to take the 1v1 and get the drop shot out of play, and he takes initiative he takes the game into his own hands. Now, if he can get this E-Hill cap and put himself in a corner, Carnage Gaming officially has map control. They're the defensive team. UYU has to push them.
Uh-oh, this is not looking good. UYU has to make the timing matter. Praized goes down early. It's going to be a big stop. These players are going to have to chain revive. He actually goes down twice. He has no extra downs left. He's simply going to pass out the next time he takes enough damage. So he's going to have to change his playstyle just a little bit. Not too much because he has the extra respawns, but just enough to know he is not going to get away with taking the damage for his team. He can't be the tip of the spear. He has to turn into a little bit more of a support role here, at least for the remainder of this life, with UYU trailing 2 hills to 1, 50-second deficit to overcome. Timing is of the essence. They don't have enough to wait here.
He may pass out in-game and out-of-game depending on how this next team fight goes. Carnage has UYU pressured in the corner as UYU wants to make a play off that next drop shot. They finally, for the first time, regain control of their home hill, and they got a decap. UYU knows they're going to have to find another hill soon, but what utility do they have to make it work? This is where those other 2 flash grenades come in handy that you got down on the map. They will have 1 smoke grenade in the hands of Kenny that they're going to have to put to perfect use. And when we see that smoke come out, we know that the push should be following right around behind it. And it's going to be used to block off Shockwqve's cross to give UYU an advantage to get to the home hill. Great pressure there by Kenny to get Absenz down as he was retreating away. There are other members of Carnage Gaming is using this opportunity to regain control of the E-Hill at neutral. Shockwqve doing what Shockwqve does, getting behind enemy lines and says, hey, I'm going to the other end of the map. And we hit a little stutter for a second, but he will make it there safely. All players here. Now, Carnage Gaming.
That scared me. I won't even lie. That stutter scared me. I thought he was gone on a super important round, but Shockwqve just completely destroys players from UYU, dropping left and right. Almost 100-point lead. BGod does it again. Swarm almost threatening with the triple cap domination. UYU has to play perfect here. We talk about playing perfect in the round. This is the moment to put up or shut up. Triple cap going off. Praized gets taken out. Gets the reset. TJ's going down. Xplosive fighting back, but look at the score. Look at the score. Plays Absenz trying to put the final nail in the coffin. A 1v1 versus Kenny. He loses it, but the damage has been done. A surmountable lead has just been accumulated by Carnage that is impossible to overcome.
Wow. In the final moments, UYU needs a double decap. They get 1, but they can't get to the other hill in time. Powerz needed the 3 seconds. His team brought him time with the decap, but nobody gets there. The perfect play does not come through. Carnage Gaming defeats UYU and give them their second loss of the Pro League. And they get tied up 3-2 with them as well. Congrats to them. What a series there. What a series.
What a series indeed. And honestly, I was saying it, can't Carnage close this one out? But look at that man. Look at the man at the top of the list. 20-8, and I believe maybe 9 for Dyslexic. I've seen him destroy teams as a sub on emergence days. This time, he's taking his team Carnage. He's leading them to a massive victory against these reigning champions.
Man, what a performance by this Carnage Gaming team. We said it plenty of times before that when this team's back against the wall, they play harder. And we saw that start in ASYLUM, and we got trickled, and that momentum trickled on over towards Bunker as well. What a fantastic series between these two teams. And Carnage Gaming, I think at this point, officially, you have to consider them a top 5 team in the Pro League. Hell, a top 4 at this point. I do believe with that victory, with them and UYU both being all tied up at 3-2 in the standings, Carnage with that head-to-head will get the leg up above them. So that was a big win for them.
And honestly, though, can you imagine a situation? Obviously, you know, we don't have too much information on the majors, but you know how we had the upper bracket and the lower bracket groups for that major? Can you imagine a UYU squad on the lower half of things? Can you imagine how much that changes things up? Obviously, I'm getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We still got half a season left to go. UYU could certainly make a good comeback in the standings, but just imagining all that going down, I would never expect at the start of the season to see UYU in shambles.
Man, but you have to kind of have that conversation now because, you know, this could be a series in which we look back on in a few weeks' time and say that was the one that really changed how these brackets got laid out. You know, Carnage Gaming had a, you know, fantastic showing here, but it is single round robin, so everybody only plays each other once. UYU will not get a second opportunity to play Carnage Gaming again. So that anyone who can get a victory on UYU there in that head-to-head matchup, that's huge when it comes down to the standings at the end of the day, especially when your record gets tied to them. So currently, the only 2 teams to give UYU a loss is going to be PK and Carnage.
And who would have thought, Blaze? Who would have thought that Latin America would have been the nightmare for these Pro League joining forces? I know after week 1, I think 5 of the 6 teams were Latin American. You see Pittsburgh Knights at the top of the standings. Carnage Gaming surprising everybody, surprising me, but rightfully so. They played that one lights out. Even when that drop shot get placed, I said it in the very beginning, if Bunker has a big power weapon on the map, Carnage Gaming will play aggressive for it, and that was one of their biggest win conditions, and UYU played right into their trap.
And, you know, I didn't get a chance to, you know, mention it, but, you know, when we look at the breakdown of the scoreboard, multiple rounds went to time. Hell, 4 of those 5 rounds went to time there for Carnage Gaming. And so, you know, it was good for them. It was a well-fought map for them. They knew that they were going to have to fight time and time again against UYU and stay in it and not play for too much on Bunker. And those score lines is indicative of what Bunker is and how it plays out. It's a little bit slower map, and we do see a lot of those rounds go by time. But congratulations to Carnage Gaming right there again. And it was a fun series, man. You know, we all predicted UYU to win, but ultimately Carnage, man, they did it. They took them out. Right. All right. So I do believe that I think we may have another side station matchup possibly coming up. No. We don't. Okay. All right. We don't have it. I had to confirm. I was like, okay, the Gears of War action is about to continue, and we're about to jump into another series. But Jacobs, what were your final thoughts on this one?
UYU, and we've been saying it since this roster change, they don't have to necessarily replace Mental, have somebody to fill his shoes. They just need to figure out their play style without him. And you can see by a big loss like that, and I say it's a big loss because in the fashion that they lost, a 5-0, I do believe, map number 1, a pretty dominating map number 3 in favor of Carnage Gaming. I say map number 2 and 3 in favor of Carnage Gaming. So they're really going to have to rethink it, because going into this week, going into this season, if you would have told me UYU would lose to a Carnage Carnage Gaming squad and kind of that brought together towards the beginning of the season, I would have called you a liar. I would have said it's impossible, especially the way they were playing open and that last emergence days. But now we're here. We talk about any given Tuesday. UYU has just been upset. The standings are now up in a haywire. I don't even know what's going on with them. Any team can realistically take out any team, and that's what they're going to have to do here on Pro League.
All right, folks. That's going to do it for Carnage Gaming versus UYU. But coming up next, the action does not stop, because I know this series right here will be delivering as well. It's Rebel versus the Pittsburgh Knights. We saw an exciting matchup on Emergence Day this last Thursday, and now we get to see them go at it again. We'll see you guys in just a bit.